This is Charlie giving you Monday's market video. I hope you're very well. I've got a bit of a rant to go through this morning, so I'm looking forward to going through that with you. I think it warrants a rant, so I'll go through that with you in a second. Before I do that, if you recall from Friday's video, I was talking about one of our members sent me a private message whilst I was in the room on Friday morning, talking about a gold trade that we did with MBT. And that gold trade, it doesn't matter, I can tell you now, but I'm not going to tell you the reasons why we took the trade. But anyway, the execution was around about in the 1070s that we got long. And as we can see now, this is actually a delayed chart. Gold is up at 1170 now, so it's up over 1,000 points in pips terms. So it's been a great trade, but the point I wanted to make here was that not only was it a great trade, but you can actually make these even better and by compounding them. If I bring up Darren's private message he sent me again on Friday, if you recall, for those of you that saw it, some of you may not have seen it on Friday. Thanks to the gold trade, best trade I've ever had. Put £450 into an account for a swing and made £5,000. Now, bear in mind, normally if someone said that to me, I'd be a bit wary. But if you read on, it said traded at £1 a pip. With a couple of lots, and then brought it to break even each one, and kept adding risk, but only once risk was reduced. Got to 20 lots of £1 eventually. Banked most of it, left 2 long lots to run. Thought you might like to know how the results of some of your students. So I thought it was a great little testimonial, so to speak, there. From one of our members, and there's been a load of us in this gold trade. Now, so what he did is managed to compound as gold was going up. Once he could move his stops up, then he's not taking on any additional risk. He's just taking on a fresh risk because the stops on his other positions were already then moved up. So he's ended up making quite a huge return on the capital that he'd actually put in. I don't know if it was just £450 into an account, or he's just done it separately just specifically for this trade. But whatever, it was still a great run, and we've all had a great run on this gold trade. So as a result, I just thought I'll just re-mention the MBT swing product, because that's what this comes from. So if you go to easytrader.com, click on our products, and then there it is, MBT swing trading, and it tells you everything there is to know about MBT. And these are the sorts of trades. Alright, that 1,000 pointer is probably one of the bigger ones, but we do get some nice big trades. And so all the information's on there. Lots of testimonials. In fact, there's so many testimonials we've not carried on putting more up there because there's already loads on there anyway. But I know Sam's got loads more which we just haven't bothered putting on. But if you've got any questions about MBT, you want to swing trade, then MBT, is our full fat swing trading. We've got the DST, divergent swing trading, as well, which is a condensed down swing trading type product. But if you want the full fat one, it's the MBT. So I just thought I'd mention that this morning. Right, now let's get on to my rant, shall we? So, I've been speaking to a couple of traders lately, and there are firms out there that say, right, okay, come and learn to trade with us, and we will give you our capital for you to go and trade. And quite often they spout out £50,000 or dollars. £50,000, $50,000 to come and trade with our money. So you come and learn with us, and we'll give you this money to trade, and then we'll just take a split of the profits. Which all sounds really cool, doesn't it? And you think, okay, yeah. And there's plenty of firms out there. And the reason I'm mentioning this because I've been having some feedback from some traders who say, yeah, I did that in the past, and this is what they actually do. So what is it they actually do? Well, quite often they might charge you, which is fair enough, for the training. The initial training might be, well, from what I'm hearing, anywhere from £5,000 to £15,000, depending on the firm. One of the biggest trader education companies out there, I believe, charges around about £15,000. Anyway, £5,000 to £15,000, and then once you've done all of that, then depending on the firm, you might have to, if you want to stay in their offices, then they might be charging you £500 a month for a desk, so to speak, in their offices. But you don't have to do that. You can just trade from home if you want to. But if you want to trade in their offices after that, then it's £500 a month. And then normally you're then expected to pay somewhere like £80 a month, I'm hearing, for charts. That's just fair enough. You might have to pay for a squawk. because some of them they encourage you to have a squawk as well, and I don't know whatever else. Oh, and then obviously then they're making money on the brokerage as well, so the commissions. So the thing is, what's actually happening is, let me just turn that off for a second. Oops, and then turn it back on again. Is so you get this 50,000. You've done all your training, and you get the 50,000. You think, great, okay, I've got more capital than I would normally be able to trade with. But then what that happens is they put really tight, stringent rules upon you, and so it's almost like makes it almost impossible to trade and make money, because as soon as you have a few losers, then they put you back onto a demo account again. So what they're doing is they're making sure that they're not going to, they're not putting any of their 50,000 effectively at risk. They'll say, "Oh yeah, we're risking, you can lose X amount before we put you back onto demo," but a lot of the time they actually switch you back over long before that happens. And so then you've got to go back to a demo account. Then you go back to your 50,000 again. If you have, if you make a little bit of money, great. But the thing is, they're making money all the time anyway on the commissions they generate through the brokerage. They've made a load of money from you on the education, and they're not really risking hardly anything of this money, and it's not real money anyway. A lot of it, from what I've heard, some of these prop trading firms, it's actually a demo money anyway. It's not even real. So what they're actually doing, they're paying you out of the commissions they might be making and out of the education that you've spent out on. So they're not even, it's not even a real 50,000, and certainly they're not having to put 50,000 into that account. Even if it is real, then they might only be having to put maybe 5,000 of their own money into that account, and then they just leverage it up. So they just keep it really tight. So I just thought I'd just have a bit of a rant and say, yeah, if it sounds too good to be true, they want to give you their money. I'll be honest with you. Even if I train someone myself here in my office every day for, let's say, a month, would I then want them to trade my own money? Why would I? I can trade my own money myself. Why would I bother? There's no need for me to do that. So and have all the hassles of having to manage and make sure that trader, is managing it correctly and everything else. What's the point? So anyway, if it sounds too good to be true, it often is when it comes to a lot of those sorts of things. So just be aware of that. And what ends up happening is that these firms, because they keep switching you back up to a demo, then back onto live again, you end up saying, do you know what, I'll just trade my own money. And that's what effectively happens. So what you've effectively done is you spent, let's say, £5,000 on a training course, which is quite a lot of money relative compared to what Kim and I charge. £5,000 on a training effectively to be trained, because you end up not really trading that money, and you end up saying, do you know what, I'll just trade my own money because you're making it so difficult to trade that. And there you go. That's how these businesses work. Right, on that note, I shall leave you to it. I'm not going to bother doing any market commentary because Kim does separate videos every day on those. So I shall leave you to it for now. Back on Friday for live trading.